Hey guys, welcome back. My name's Stu and this is Windshear Woods for Rollercoaster Tycoon Classic, another scenario from Terra Henk. The Windshear Woods mark the scenery of an already successful amusement park with its dueling wooden coasters. It's up to you to expand the park. Your objective to have at least 1,800 guests in your park at the end of October, year 3, with a park rating of at least 600. Okay then, so fairly large park, I guess, and there's clearly the dueling wooden coasters, and wow, they are pretty big. Let's have a look. Mountain Menace and Cliff Colossus. Great stats on them both, and look, the right time, perfectly synced. Well done there. And let's turn off scenery a second. Yeah, we got some huge sort of gorges and things like that. I don't like the wood effect on them. So at some point, I will be keeping these rides, but at some point I would like to change that. I can see some pathing issues there. Let's have a look. Yeah, we've got some paths to nowhere. And there's a lot of dead space because there's no path loops that open those spaces up. Like look at this area here. There's nothing. There's no way of getting there. Same here. Same over this side, and then we've got a river rapids just there. Probably, I don't know, maybe need some extra drops or something to bring the stats up. That's fine. Let's have a look at this wooden coaster then, or the wooden coasters, I should say. Okay, so I don't like the pathing for the stations. We've got 3 trains on continuous circuit mode, so I would like to change it into block sections and no photo sections. So yeah, I'm definitely going to do a bit of tinkering with those, but I am going to keep them. So let's have a look to see what else scenario has for us. We're charging for rides. That's cool. That'll make it a bit easier for us. We've got £10,000 loan and only 2%, so that's negligible. And we've got, have I seen? Yeah, I've seen the train. So we've got a train as well. Let's have a look. Only one station. That's good. So that means we probably have to rejig that slightly, I'm guessing. Let's have a look. We usually do. We could probably get away with not doing it. But you know me, I like to fiddle. So I'm never happy with what other people have done. Okay, so let's carry on looking. We've got gentle rides, a couple of coasters, some thrill rides, some water rides, and as seems to be the case, we're going to research shops because there's hardly anything there. Right. Okay. So now I've got an idea of what I'm going to do, and this is going to be a bit of a weird sort of analogy, but it's kind of obvious when you think about it. But I'm probably the first person to sort of put this concept, this idea out there. So if you think of this park, this theme park, and it could be any theme park, could be real life theme parks, could be ones you've made yourself, it doesn't really matter. It's all the same. Think of it as like an adventure. Think of this as like a land where you have to go and you have to rescue the princess or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. You've got things to do along the way, and you've got mini bosses, and you've got big end of game final bosses. Okay, so things like the river rapids, maybe the train, and oh, hang on, have we seen this? And this reverser coaster over here. They're the mini bosses. The wooden coasters are clearly the final bosses. So we've already got that. We don't need to do any final bosses. It's already done for us. Yeah, we're going to tinker, but they're already built. So what we need to do is we need to do all those other little steps along the way. So those are the shops and the flat rides. And then once we're happy with that, we can do some bigger rides. But in order to do that as well, what we need to do is we need to open up the areas and build some path loops and make those areas, like these areas over here, accessible so that we can then have a blast during maybe the last 2 years. So the first year is going to be a bit of a chore. And people say to me, oh, Stu, you should stream or you should do longer videos. Nobody wants to watch me terraforming for a couple of hours. No one wants to watch me fumbling around the menus trying to build something and it keeps going underground, overground, etc., etc. Nobody wants to watch that. So I'm gonna spend like the first, and it's probably the way I'm going to be using pause and things like that. This first year, it's probably going to take me about an hour or two. But after that, once that's all done, the final 2 hours are going to fly. The final 2 years, I should say, are going to fly, and we're going to make an amazing park. October year one, we've had a massive year. We've been so busy. We've been hammering that pause button, building, and all that sort of thing. So we've done a lot of stuff really quickly. Okay, so we've got the two roller coasters. Let's turn this off a second. Turn that off. Turn that off so we can see. Right, I've split the station and I've rejigged the entrance so the entrances come overground. The exits, they meet each other underground and they come out over here where you can see the balloons in the middle of the screen. Let me turn that back on. Cool. Let's have a look. Have we adjusted the stats? I think they're a little bit more exciting, but you know, that's probably more to do with the interactions with the other rides. Okay, so the exit did come all the way out here and down here, but I've got rid of that and then I've added a path loop that joins up with the front there. I've got to get rid of those hedges. Got a couple of pirate ships there, which should tell you that we are now researching thrill rides. Let's have a look, because we finished off researching all the shops, and now we're researching thrill rides. We've got some shops just down there. Let's have a quick tour around here. So whilst rejigging the wooden coasters, this river rapids was getting in the way, so I had to delete it, and then I just rejigged it slightly. So stats are more or less the same. It's a little bit higher, but that's probably to do with the little bridge going up over it. Got the path up there, longer path, and then coming down here. So we've got some extra path loops and then some thrill rides along the way. So it comes down here. Loads of kiosks and toilets on major corners and junctions and things like that. You know how I like to play it. I noticed that the reverser rides is running 2 cars per train. We can probably change that at some point, although we do need to just check that it doesn't cause any problems. We've extended the queue on that. Yeah, we've seen that path loop, so that opens up another section. Spiral slide was already there. We've added a bumper boats just down there, and we've rejigged the path for the railway. Oh, hang on. Oh, there you go. I put a no entry sign just there in order to stop all the guests wandering down so I could fiddle about with the train, and I forgot to delete it. So, yeah, no doubt that's why my rating's a bit lower than it should be. So we've rejigged that. That's great. Cool. So I've got the roller coasters now set to £10. We've also added photo sections as well, so that's going to make me some good cash. We've got the reverser set to £5, and we've got the river rapids set to 5 as well. Yeah, so all in all, all in all, we're doing really well. I mean, look at the guest numbers. We've got almost 900. We've got the green arrow, so it's going to go over 900. We need 1800, so we're halfway there, but only a third through the scenario. So we should be more or less getting towards the goal, I would think, by the end of year 2. That's the plan anyway. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. May year 2, and we started researching roller coasters. I've been focusing the last few months on putting down whatever gentle rides and thrill rides that we had as well. So we've got a truck ride just there. It's probably not long enough, but whatever. It's a kiddie ride. We've got a maze just down there, and we've got a 3D cinema just there. Windy Mouse. And we've got shops, seating areas. Let's have a look. Let's zoom out so I can show you what we've done. There you go. So we've got a path loop just around here as well, bringing this side of the park into play, so we can have some rides just up here. And we've got a path loop then just down here, nice bridge going across with a loop back to the main exit. And then we've got a Ferris wheel, and we've got a carousel and a haunted house. So as I said, we're researching roller coasters now. 1,200 guests, so two-thirds of the way to the goal. And we've got all these little spaces. Let's turn off the scenery. So look, there's a space there for a coaster. We could probably fit one there in the middle. Maybe over here next to the reverser. There's space there. Don't know what we can put there. Maybe on the water. I don't know. There's definitely a space over here. So we got tons of options, and we've given ourselves those options by doing the path loops, by taking that time during year 1. We've now got plenty of options in year 2 and year 3. August, year 2, and look at my rating. It's absolutely tanked. So I've figured out what it was. I've looked in the thoughts. There's loads of people complaining about being too crowded, and it's this area of the park. So what I've done is I've turned off scenery, and I've noticed, look, I was fiddling about with the fences and things, and I haven't connected, or I've deleted a bit of the path. So now all these guests, there you go. Look at them all running into they were desperate to ride Windy Bug. So the meta for this, or the story for this, the lore behind this is that it's fart powered. And so when it comes out here of these boost sections, they'll have a big like fart noise playing. And that'll be like the turbo boost of the bug. Yeah, so hopefully now the rating's going to go back up. I'm in the process of building another coaster just here. I just thought I'd stop to show you. Is it going to go back up? Let's have a look. So that's put a bit of a spanner in the works. We're doing really well up until that point, but that's going to cause a lot of guests to sort of leave. So that's a shame. What I have done now, because we're doing all right on the cash, is I've reduced all the coasters down now to £5, and all other rides I'll be putting down to £1. Because what we want to do is we want to keep the guests that we've got in the park as long as possible, and also we want to get as many guests off the paths as possible to reduce. And oh, there you go. The rating's starting to go up now. There you go. So yeah, that was the issue. So we want to reduce overcrowding as well, especially when it rains. But yeah, if guests are already in the queues when it rains, they'll stay in the queue. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, I'm going to crack on. Just thought I'd show you that because it was quite interesting. October, year 2. 1,444 guests in the park. We've got the green arrow, so we should be heading up towards 1,500. Rating is fixed. We had that little bit of a blip, and it returned back to maximum. So that was all cool. Been plugging away, added some new coasters. So we've seen the junior coaster, then we added this one here called Amp. And then, so with this one, it came back and the rating was like about a 3 or something. That's because it had a penalty. So what I realized is it didn't have a high enough drop. So I've just changed this little section here on there. So it was a little bit higher. So I've reduced it down a bit now. So it's got a higher drop, and then that gives the full stats. So that's pretty cool. What else have we got? One thing I've done now is I've got all the roller coasters now at £5, and all the non-coasters we're going to put down to free. And the reason for that is simply because if you look at the profits, so I haven't done it yet, but I will do it. Now I know some of them I've put down to £1 anyway, but if you look at how much money we're making off the roller coasters, the amount of money that we're making off these rides is hardly anything. I mean, look at the Maian, it's £10 an hour truck. Swans. I've got swan boats. I'm showing you that, but I will do £30. It's hardly anything. So we might as well make them free. Get the guests off the paths, show them a good time, and so to speak, and they'll stay in the park longer and have more cash that they can then use on roller coasters and things like that. But yeah, we're doing really well. So let's have a quick once around the park, a quick peekaboo around the park. So we've seen this area just down here. We got the swan boats. just there. I mean, it's not my idea of a good ride, but whatever. Some people will like it. Just adds to it. Got a top spin there, and I like the idea that the top spin's facing this year, so they'll see the ride, the trains going up. Nice full queues there, loads of six. We're going to put down some extra handyman as well. I mean, we've paid back the loan, so what we'll do now is we'll just keep putting down some extra handyman and things like that. We'll hire like a security guard and an entertainer just to make sure we've got all four types. So we might win the award for best staff, depending on how many staff we got. Let's have a look just around here. We've got this one. Don't use these very often. Swinging suspended coaster, is that what it's called? It's tripped me up again, the fact that it shows the swinging cars. Mini suspended coaster. Just there. Good stats there. I'm probably going to rejig this final bend, because if you look at the way it looks like the support is sticking through the tracks from that angle, and from this angle, the whole track is sort of glitched through. It's purely down to the order that the game is drawing the sprites, I'd imagine. So what I'll do is I'll just drop that slightly and bring it round so it doesn't cause any problems. As I said, I'm going to change the wood effect on the canyons there. But yeah, not too much rides to go. Not too much rides to go. Not too many more rides, I think, that we need to build. We've got space just here in the middle for one. And where is it? And space just over here as well. And I think once we've done that, we should be fine. We don't want to have too many guests in the park. As I said, I'm mindful about overcrowding. And if we put down too many rides, we're going to get a huge influx of guests. And we don't need that. We need 1,800. So if we can get 1,800 plus, I don't know, another 100 or two as a buffer, that'll be great. May year 3, and we've got a looping coaster. Good timing there. 1,723 guests. We've got the green arrow, so we should be fine now. We usually get a bit of a bounce in guest numbers in the sort of the late summer months, so I figure we'll be fine. I can now spend the time going around adding little bits of fencing and trees and things like that, and making sure the place is all right. Maybe spamming some extra staff so the paths are as free of sick as possible. So we've got the looping coaster called Windchill, because I just imagine that, well, not imagine, I just remember that sometimes where you go on roller coasters and it is quite cold, the air going over you is absolutely bone chilling. And I think we've done Chessington a few times, and one of the times that we did it was like, I'm sure it was like, was it New Year's around that time or something like that, and they have like limited park opening, with some sort of deal with the hotel there, and we went on Vampire, and it was absolutely freezing that day. I think it was the same time that we went where some of the rides weren't open early, because when it dips below freezing, they won't open the coasters until it goes over 5 degrees Celsius. Obviously, not weirdo units. And so when we did actually go on Vampire, it was freezing. It was cold anyway, but the actual air blasting over you as you're going through it. Yeah. Anyway, also we've got this bobsleigh here, Windy Bobs. Decent stats on that. The trick with these is there's nothing complicated with them. You've just got to make sure that they're long enough. Probably 1,200 and something. Aim for 1,300 feet. There you go. I'm using weirdo units, and make sure it goes over, say, 26 miles per hour. Again, weirdo units, and you'll be fine. So yeah, max speed 28. So we're fine on that. Yeah, so we're done basically. Oh, there you go. We're almost at 1,800 now. So I'm just going to go around putting things like fences down and stuff like that, just making sure that the outro is as pretty as possible. I'm going to go around and also do this, changing that. And one thing I realized, look at this, what's that? £10, £10, £10. This bit here where there's clearly a lot more, £10. Let's have a look. One of these giant canyons, £10. It's all the same price. So, yeah. I think just spend the next few months doing that, and by the time October comes round and we do our wrap up and outro, the place is going to look marvelous. October, year 3, 1,980 guests in the park. We've switched off funding for research because we're not going to be researching anything else. We needed 1,800. We've got almost 2,000. The rating, we needed 600. It's on maximum. It's been on maximum for a long time, ever since that little blip that we had when we deleted a bit of path by mistake. So when we came in then, we had a couple of wooden coasters, and the stations were a bit complicated. The pathing was a bit complicated, so we rejigged it, made it simpler. We added some photo sections. We changed them to block breaks. We've changed them from 3 cars or 3 trains down to 2. Cool. And they've made us a ton of profit, and at the moment they're running at £5. All coasters are £5 in this park. All non-coasters are free. Cool. So after that, then what we did is we researched shops, and we just went around the place building path loops, putting down shops, putting down our kiosks and toilets at all sort of major junctions. At some point we did have enough toilets where we were eligible for best toilets, and we won that. So we've added, if I turn off scenery, turn off rides, turn off, yeah, that's fine. So what you can now see is all the path loops that we've built. So a lot of these weren't there, a lot of these paths weren't there. So the green train obviously broken down on that coaster. So we've added these in order to give ourselves options and give ourselves space for future. Turn that back on. After that, then into year 2, we were researching thrill rides. Once we finished off researching all the shops, and then we just used for year 2, we started putting down thrill rides and gentle rides and just making up the numbers, because the way I explained it at the start of the train, I keep doing things like that. I rejigged the train. What was it for? It was for, so it must be closed for months. I rejigged it slightly for, there you go, for the bobsleigh there. So that's been closed for months. So I've been so engrossed putting down fences and things like that I've completely neglected all the train people, all the steamies that want to come and ride the locomotion. So I was putting down the flat rides and things like that, because the way I explained it at the start is like, imagine like an adventure or something like that, where you've got your mini bosses and your final game bosses. Well, these wooden coasters are the final game bosses, and things like the river rapids and the train, they're like the mini bosses. So we already had that. We just need to fill up the rest of the park with like the tasks and the random encounters and the stuff like that. And that's what the flat rides are. Those are like the sort of the little tiny tasks, the fetch quests, that sort of thing. I don't know if that analogy makes sense. It does to me. Let me know. And then after that, after we researched the thrill rides, we started researching coasters. And then what we've done is we've just been going around, finding the little spots that we've created for ourselves, like here in the path loop, and adding coasters. Just here as well, and also the junior coaster as well, the fart powered coaster. And then yeah, and look at it, almost 2,000 guests. Will it go over 2,000 by the time? Yes, it does. It goes over straight away. Tons of balloons and stuff. We changed the reverser to 3 cars per train. I can never remember if these crash or not. I think they do. I think they can. So what I did was I added some brakes just at the end there, because it was coming a little bit fast in testing. towards the end, and I just wanted to make sure that when it had people on, and so therefore it had more potential energy, it didn't go too fast. So as you see now, it'll slow right down. That's fine. It'll speed back up once it drops down. It just means that the guests stay in the queues a little bit longer, which, isn't such a big thing because we've already increased the capacity of the ride. Yeah, did I show the stats? Yeah, I did show you the stats on that. What about the train? Has that improved? Guests going on it. It is free. I've made sure, one thing I should have done from the start is gone around and making sure that there you go, we've completed it. Making sure that all of the pre-built rides were set to 10-minute inspection intervals. I did do it on the coaster and also the river rapids because I had to rebuild that, but I didn't do it on the spiral slide or the train. I'm trying to get this. There you go. Cool. Yeah, so that was a quite a fun scenario. I think if I had just gone in and started building, it would have been a hassle because we didn't have the space and it would have just been a complete mess. But because I spent that first year making sure that we had plenty of path loops, giving us the opportunities that we needed in the second and third year, we had a blast and it was great. And I think the park looks pretty good. So anyway, this was Windshear Woods. Another scenario from Terra Henk. Hang on. I swear I'm not doing this deliberately. What color is it? There you go. Because like one person commented about how much they enjoyed fencing with Stu. Why does it do that? Why does it do that? I keep turning this off. I keep unticking it. And I keep doing that. But for some reason, it keeps coming back up. I don't know why I've got any options. Watch now. There you go. See, none of them are ticked. None of the things, the tips that you normally see, the ones that pop up about the awards and stuff like that. I've made those. I've added those myself. But it's really annoying. Anyway, so yeah, this is Windshear Woods, another scenario from Terra Henk. I've been Stu. If you enjoyed the video and you want to see more, then please subscribe, drop a like on the video as well, drop a comment if you enjoyed, if you've got any feedback. It really does help a little channel out like mine. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.